This is the perfect way to honor all of the national parks. Big, bold, fun, collectible. And do we have a regular size quarter, Mike?
We'll get one out here.
Yeah,
I bet we can get one
I bet we can. Mike, talk to us about the significance of these, because these are ginormous.
Well, here's the thing. The United States government, when it first started, the United States State Quarter Program was, of course, so phenomenally popular. It was so, it kind of revived the entire coin collecting industry and world. And they continued on with that, with the Beautiful series, which is America's National Parks and National Historic Areas. One of the things that they decided to do with this, that they'd never done before, is they decided to make each and every one of those quarters in a 5-ounce silver version. So they did the quarters, reprised the quarters, and each one of these is 5 ounces of absolute pure silver. 999 fine silver, 5 ounces. So as you can see, it features the edge lettering that's right there. Well, they started these out in 2010, and it created this huge uproar in 2010. And those 2010 coins that came out sell today for $400 to $600 a piece because of the numismatic value, because they only made about 22,500 of each one of those, 24,000 of each one of those. Well, this is the brand new release. This is the Ellis Island, folks. Now, I have had all of the 2017 coins coming into this. So we had just recently the Ozark Riverways. I sold that out instantaneously at $199. I brought in another batch at an increased price, I think $229, and we sold every one of those. The Frederick Douglass we sold out at $199. I think they're about $299 now. And then prior to that, we had the Effigy Mounds coins that we sold at $199, and I think they're about $249 or $279 now. Because what the United States government has done this year is when they make the release, they make a certain number of coins, and then they don't make them again. So here's what it comes down to, the Ellis Island. Remember I was telling you the 2010 coins? At 24,000 coins are $400 to $600 a piece. This coin is rarer. All the 2017 coins are rare. As a matter of fact, this is by mintage the rarest of the 5-ounce America solid silver coins. So what you end up with is not only, and at 20,000 is the mintage. It would make it by far the rarest American. If this was an American Silver Eagle with a mintage of 20,000, I can tell you what it would sell for, about $8,000 or $10,000 because of that mintage. But it's even rarer than that, and it's not 1 ounce of silver, it is 5 ounces of solid silver. It's 5 ounces of solid silver. I'm gonna go ahead and put an actual quarter next to this. Now, do not confuse this. Please do not confuse this with a bar or one of those other things, you know, that are out there in the marketplace, bars or rounds that are made by private mints. This is a United States government issue coin. This is made by the United States Mint.
Look at the sheer size. The
rarity of this is absolutely, positively stunning. And then add in the fact that what I've got here is the Ellis Island.
Right. And you said this
one and only release of these. They made 20,000 coins. I bought 1,000. I bought 5% of the entire mintage. You and I have not done one of these in prime time yet.
Right.
I have 434 left of the 1,000 I brought in.
Right.
And the reason is, as soon as we put them on hsn.com, people have been waiting. We've been collecting these. We've been selling these. So all the ones that I sold for $179, silver was a little less, $179, $189, $199, which are my original issue prices, we are now, when we have those, are now $249, $299, $329, $349. I have the Hawaii coin from 2012. I think it's $529. This coin is every bit as rare as the Hawaii, with, of course, the same exact amount of silver, 5 ounces of silver in each and every one of these. So you've got fantastic intrinsic value. You've got absolutely amazing rarity of only 20,000 coins. I have my original price from my original release right here. Original price from the original release. These are all that I'm going to get at $199. Already in the secondary market, if I were to buy them, I'd have to be $229, I'd have to be $249. If you just check, if I have on hsn.com, if I have the Ozark Riverways coin, because I had to restock those, I was only able to get 400 of the Ozark Riverways. And when I got those, and I think I'm $229 on those, perhaps a little bit more, we've already sold 82 of these, okay? I've only got about 400 left now of the 1,000 that I had. 5 ounces pure silver in each and every one. So
it's hefty.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's over a quarter of a pound of pure silver. So understand that part and parcel of this is at $199, a significant part of the price is just the silver value.
Right.
Now add in the incredible rarity of the coin itself. The fact that this coin is fantastically rare. Okay, the fact that it is the rarest of all of the 5-ounce American silver quarters that are out there from the America the Beautiful series. Add in the fact that I got these at the original issue price, and they've already started moving into the secondary market, yes, as is often the case. And as you can see, so the rarity of these is virtually unprecedented. Then add in the intrinsic value of every single one of these. The fact they have over a quarter of a pound of silver in each one of those, and that becomes true and abject collectability.
And Mike, is this the largest coin that the U.S.
Largest silver coin.
The largest silver coin.
Well, largest silver coin, gold coin, largest coin.
Coin ever that
largest
the US
coin they've ever made.
Ever made. So I mean, if you were looking at the scale and you picked up the palladium coin, and that was the first palladium coin that the Mint has ever made, and then you're looking at the scale, you're looking at the size, the collectability, the rarity of these coins, the 5-ounce silver coins. This is the largest silver coin the U.S. Mint makes. So there are so many reasons to collect this coin. The fact that we're putting it on 4Flex today at $49.99, already over 120 now have been spoken for. We've got a limited quantity to go around. And this was really truly known, Ellis Island, as the island of hope. It was a beacon of hope that welcomed over 12 million immigrants for a better life coming to America. There is such a significance and an importance to having this coin and collecting this coin. Even, Mike, for the holiday season, to be able to give it, it is just stunning. We're going to show you a comparison.
This is the Ozark Riverways. I had to restock these because I sold them out at $199. I have them here at $219 that you see here, $219.95. I think I got about 2 dozen of those left at the $20 more price. If I restocked them, that'd be $249 or $279. So that's what happens. That's what's going to happen to this coin in 360 coins. Okay, I'll have to go into the secondary market and try to get those. So I still have the Ozark Riverways, which is the one before this.
How many left? 19.
Oh, there's 19
or 10.
left.
Is that 10 or 19? I can't see, Mike.
Yeah, it's 10 or 10.
10. Both of us can't see.
Yeah. There's only 10 of those left at $219.
At $219.
Okay, I had like 200 or 300 of those at $219. There's 10 of those left.
Right.
And then I had the Frederick Douglass is long gone. Okay, the effigy mounds is long gone.
Oh, I thought we had a few effigies.
Oh, we do.
We do, I think.
Ooh,
don't we? No.
No,
oh, no, we don't.
I don't think we have any effigy mounts. Those are long sold out. So once again, 5 ounce, the 2017, the 2017 5-ounce coins have been kind of the quiet heroes of the American numismatic production of this year. All the coins are like 20,000, the rarest of all of the coins that have been done in the 5-ounce America the Beautiful series. They've all been exceptionally rare, exceptionally difficult to get. This is the last of my quantity that I have at the original issue price for us of $199.95. Over 150 of these gone, which basically means 750 ounces of silver.
It's a lot.
So we're looking at 40 pounds of silver, 40 pounds of silver just gone just like that. Look at the detail.
I mean, look at the detail. I mean, the little boy with the American flag. I mean, it's that beacon of hope. It's that way of a better life. As those immigrants came to Ellis Island, you know, so many of us are so proud of America, and as we should be.